Hello friends, welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I am going to be ranking seating arrangements in the metro. We're going to go on a comprehensive list of where you should sit, and next time you go on the metro, you will know where to sit, my friends. You will know where to go. I might make a part two because there might not be enough because there's too much there might be too much in this video. This might be too little in this video. In the next video, I might do another one. Let's see. Okay, so let's start out with the classic. The bar. Okay, when you hold on to the bar, and that's your only real way to support. In this image, you can see, two Asians, probably in Japan, probably in Korea, maybe Taiwan, one of those countries, and they're holding on to a bar, a stripper bar, if you will, the same sort of, bar, and they're holding on to it. I think this is one of the worst. I think objectively, unless we're going to see some more, contenders for the worst. I didn't put it on the list, but I think I'm going to put it on the next one, is when you have no hands or you're not hanging on to something. I mean, that happens like occasionally, or you have to hang on to like a little piece on the wall because the metro designer didn't put in something correctly. But this is probably objectively one of the worst ways to do it. I still think put it a D. It's not a great time. It's even worse when it's crowded, but this is a D. Sometimes you have to do it. It's the most common, I guess, way to, approach the metro. I think a D. We might bump it up to see if there's, we discover along this list, there might be some worst ones. Okay, we're going to go on the double-seater, the double-decker. This is, if you see the placement of this one in particular, I'm going to take each one in particular. This seating can't really see very well, but I think it's for more of the elderly or pregnant or groups of families type seating. But occasionally, if there's nobody of those types around, I think it's a free-for-all for anybody to get it. If there's no elderly, there's no pregnant people, if there's no handicaps or anything like that, I think this one is fair game, in my opinion. If you take it, it's remind you that the seating isn't amazing because you are right next to the door, meaning that traffic will come in. It's not great. It's still a seat. Looks pretty comfortable, in my opinion. And because of that sort of risk factor, or that sort of, that faux pas, that social faux pas of taking the handicap spot, I think it's still a decent place that might not have too much people. And you could potentially pass yourself off if you have a little stutter or, a little twitch in your leg, you could take the spot, and you won't get judged socially in the hierarchy, the dominance hierarchy in the metro. That was a little Jordan Peters impression. This is not bad. I think we're going to put it in B tier. We might change our list later. This is the handicap spot. I don't think even handicaps people will even take this spot. It's all right if you obviously don't see anybody with a wheelchair, anybody there. It's all right. You can take it. It's not great. I mean, it's like as good as the bar, but you do have that extra back support. But it does have the advantage of the other one, that if you have the balls, if you're brave enough, if you're courageous enough to take the handicap spot, of course, obviously, people watching, take it when there's no handicap person there. There's no elderly person there. When you see one, you cede your place, you contest yourself. You say, well played to the other member of the group, and you concede your space. But this one is not bad. In my opinion, it's not. Actually, no, it is a little bad. I don't think it's great. I think it's C tier. I think it's a C tier spot. I mean, you do have that extra, back thing you can hold on to. You are kind of back, maybe less people, because maybe people think you're like handicapped or something. I don't know exactly. This is the back door. You could also put, this is the back door in the metro. So usually in the metro you will have, it does switch doors from time to time, depending on the spot that you're, where the metro stops. Stops? Is that what they call them? But there's always that, like, in about 10 stops you have enough time to sit back there until you get to your space. This is perfect because you back up, you get to the end. Not a lot of traffic comes through this area. Nobody's going to take your spot. Nobody's going to come really next to you. And it's perfect because there's no like social, some of these other seats, like even normal chairs. I mean, there's a little bit of that, that social faux pas to not take. You always got to be alert. If there's a handicapped person walking in, if there's an old person walking in, you concede your spot. But this one, you can concede, you can take hold of it the whole time, no problem. And you're in the back, you do have that little extra back support. The only problem is whenever the metro line switches, whenever it does a little changement, you do have to, concede your spot. But if you have a good, awareness of where, when the doors are going to change, then you can pre-plan it so you stay there until the changement of the doors, and then you just leave, and that's pretty good. I think that's pretty peak. If you do have a little bit of strategy, this could be a very decent placement. But at the same time, you are not reaching the spot. You are not taking a chair, which is, I think, the prime objective of each metro. You're not getting a chair, so we're not going to put it at flying colors, but it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty low to high C tier. We're going to put it on a low B tier for this one. This one is one of the rarest sightings you will ever see in a metro. You will observe the sighting of the full lane very, very occasionally, my friends. You'll see it maybe 10 times max in a lifetime. When you see it, you take it, okay? You take it. You take it for the picking. This will happen maybe at the weird times. This will happen maybe during lunch. Maybe around that 10 to 12 mark when people are either at work. You might see it occasionally in lunchtime. You might see it on the first metro coming in. Or you might see it at the last. I don't think you'll see it at the last metro. You will see it very, very occasionally. I bet some of you might have had the chance to get one of these during COVID and consider yourself a very, very lucky person. This is obviously coming in at the S tier, having the whole lane, the full 5 to 6 seat lane is a luxury only very few people can have. Some homeless, they take this advantage a little bit too far while sleeping when other people want to get in. But when you have the power of the 6 metro seat lane, it's really good. It's really good. We're going to put it in S tier for obvious reasons, but it is a very hard thing to get. This is very rare as well. I still think it's not as rare as, the let's say the full flush of those seats, those 6 seats or 5 seats or whatever. This one is when you have, I think this guy, a lot of people online, a lot of leftists online will criticize this guy for taking it, but I think he can do this as long as, he waits one stop, make sure nobody else wants to take it. Because, some people, they just like standing. I call them NPCs. They like to stand. Even though there's a spot, they just love to stand. I don't know, maybe good for they read some fucking Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan thing. Where, okay, standing in the metro means you're a Chad or something like that. This guy, he takes his right. He's not, he's not taking any spot from anybody else. It's all right. I think this is allowed, and I think it's all right as long as there are not too many people there, for obvious reasons. This is a decent spot. This is almost a full luxury spot. This is almost premier class, private jet type spot. This is almost as good as taking an Uber. Okay, maybe not. This is all right. This is pretty good, I think, too. Yeah, we're gonna put in. I think we're gonna put an A tier because as soon as because it's kind of. How do I put this into words? Let's say if people can look at you bad. The conductor might look at you bad for having your seat. If there's an agent in the system, if there's an imposter on the metro, those people who scan your cards, if they observe you, doing this maneuver as this guy's doing, which I don't think harms anybody. There's people pissing in the metro. But this doesn't harm anybody, and people don't like it. I like it. I think it's a Chad move. I think it's great. But yeah, there is that social repercussion, which is very high on this one. If somebody catches you doing this, that is a metro imposter, guy who scans your card and everything, it could be very badly seen. You could get some sort of a fine. So for that reason, it's not S tier, even though it's undoubtedly one of the most comfortable ones on the list. I don't think there's no denying that. It's a full spot. This one is, it's a chair, but it's not really a chair. Honestly, what are these? This is the Finnish metro. I know a lot of other metros are like this. They're just plastic, no back end. This is like the communist, version, Stalin, a Mao sort of seating system. This is very bad. Who wants to sit, especially when it's cold, on your fucking ass to this horrible plastic thing? There's no cushions. There's just no cushions. It's horrible. They're taking away your cushions, my friends. They're taking them away. They're taking any sort of little support that you want to have. This, honestly, sometimes I'd rather stand. Sometimes I'd rather stand than do this. Obviously, it's not as good as standing. This is all right. I think this is good. I think this is good. I think this is pretty good because it is a seat, but very harsh because there's no seating, there's no cushions, there's no real comfortability. And a lot of communists, they will say, well, how come the people who stand up have no comfortability on their own? Well, it's a meritocracy. We live in a capitalist metro system. First come, first serve. We help from time to time some old people, but it's not a guarantee, it's a charity. The government should not install these handicap pregnant places. It should be for the people to decide who sits where, and taking away our rights, our privileges for seating is really bad. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's still a seat. So at the end of the day, it can't be too bad. But it's almost getting on the same level as this door one. This door is like that middle class guy, or that person who grew up in the hood, finally finding a little space to carve out themselves. Maybe they're not Elon Musk. Maybe they're not going to become the president of the United States, but they found a good location and they stuck with it. They stuck with it and they stuck it out, and they really get rewarded. This is like taxing the rich for no reason. It's like taxing the rich. What's like some useless thing, taxing the rich, so the prime minister can get a new dress or something like that. It doesn't serve any purpose. Yeah, you catch my drift. This one is these little hanging things. I don't really know what to call them. This is a fucking psyop. This is a guy having a laugh at the common people who must stand, and he's just having a laugh. Why these things just flop around anywhere you go. Every time you stop, you gotta fucking go one direction, and then you yo-yo to the other, and you swing from each location to each location. I'm not a big fan. I think it should be stable. I think we should have a stable economy, and I think these should be stable too. Not a great fan. I'd rather use the stripper bar than fucking this, okay? Homeless. What more can I say? I'm not going to get into a whole thing, have a deep care of homeless people. I think you should give money to the homeless. Actually, don't give money to the homeless. Let me finish. Hopefully CNN doesn't take the grifter out of context. What I meant was, don't feed. I would feed the homeless. I would actually give them some food, or some drink, not alcohol, obviously. Some orange juice, a nice piece of bread, a nice sandwich. Because I think that either they'll spend their money on drugs. Sometimes they do actually spend their money on their kids, but I would much rather give them direct food. I think and plus that generally I think they are a lot more appreciative of that. Speaking on the topic of that, I gave orange juice to a homeless. I went to a store. I was buying orange juice for myself. I gave it to a homeless person because I don't really need orange juice at the end of the day. I think water like suffices. So I gave it. He said, "No, take it back." And I was like, "What? Like you're home? I want to give you this." And he said, "No, no." So I went to another homeless person, another family, and they took it graciously with open arms. And I think that's the better solution, because I think that if they, you can give them money. Obviously, I'm not gonna shit on you for doing that, but I still think that they will do a wiser, decision with that. Yeah. Well, I don't know what this is about, but yeah, homeless people, obviously there's a problem in the metro, a little bit of derangement, but let's not really blame them, because let's blame the society that created them, our capitalistic, brainwashed society. I don't really know. You can blame them. I don't know. You can blame him. You cannot blame him. I don't really know. It's a problem. I think they should seek help. I think our government should be able to help them. I think they are. I think or it might be a problem with them. I don't know. Let's just scratch that for today. Let's leave that conversation for the comments. You guys decide, what should we do with homeless people. This is the handicapped version of this is actually my Metro. If you don't know, this is the one that I have. This is like the handicapped little brother, a shittier brother than the other one. Obviously, a great sight to see. Nonetheless, has actually cushioning, but there's these bars that kind of prevent you from really having a full, luxury experience. You're only limited really to those 2 spaces. It is still a good sight to see having those 6 spaces, but it's not as momentous. I would still put it on the S tier, but it's not as good, my friends. This is a little, bar. This is the little 3-bar way. There's some sort of a watermark. I think you should go ahead and sub to Revolution, whatever it is. This is the 3-bar. I think I like this because it kind of like has a sort of trifecta when it comes to friends. If you have a trio of friends, 1 person each bar, I think that's all right. Obviously some bars are better placed than others. I think the middle one gets a lot better of a chance, or the one that's at the back gets a better of a chance. Still think it's good. Still think it's not that bad. I think we're going to put it in C tier. Thank you very much. Well, actually, it's not great. I mean, it's still just kind of a bar. We're going to put it in the top of D tier. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had a great time making it. Hopefully you have a great time subscribing, commenting, whatever you want. Disagree with me. Tell me where I'm wrong. Add some sort of other seating or other tier list if you want down in the comments below. Love you guys so much. Have a good day. Have a blessed afternoon. Have a good time, my friends. And also give stuff to homeless. I wouldn't give money, but give like a sandwich. Give like, what I did, like a juice. Give something to a homeless person. And yeah, that'll do something good for somebody else, Thank you very much. Instead of fucking buying like the Fortnite Battle Pass, how about you buy like a guy some orange juice? Just a thought. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys.